And for more on this, joining me now is Dr. Olawale Ismail, a senior lecturer at the African Leadership Centre in King's College, London. Doctor, good to have you here with us on TRT World. What could have possibly led the army to overthrow the government in Niger?
It's still a bit unclear because this was not on the horizon in Niger. We do know that the region has suffered coups in the last couple of years, but the conditions in Niger is incomparable to the other countries, Burkina Faso, Mali, Guinea, and the rest that have had coups in the last couple of years. So the situation is still a bit hazy. Um, but Niger is always going to be a major issue for the new leadership at ECOWAS. How does ECOWAS respond to this? Niger has got to be a bulwark against the spread of coups in West Africa. So we wait to see what kinds of action ECOWAS is able to take at this point in time.
Right. We know that President Mohamed Bazoum had a rather controversial stance on France's counter-terrorism operations in the Sahel region. Do you think that could have possibly encouraged the army to overthrow him?
It's not impossible. As you do know, there is a wave of anti-French feelings spreading across much of countries, French-speaking countries in the Sahel and parts of West Africa. So it could be that at the level of, rank and file of military officers, they share some of these frustrations that you see play out in Mali, in Guinea, Burkina Faso about France's role in counterterrorism in the region. So at the level of officials, of military officers, it could be an issue. But we do know that at the political level, Niger, like many other, countries in and around Lake Chad Basin, they do have very good relations with France.
Right, and we are seeing condemnation coming from the international community. For example, the French, they have released a statement, and the U.S. State Department has also released a statement condemning this coup in Niger. Now, as I understand, the president is still being held inside the presidential palace. So in the wake of the latest events, what do you think future holds for the country?
We will see the way ECOWAS and the African Union have always responded to this is to engage the military junta in a dialogue or negotiation. ECOWAS has appointed a president of Benin, President Talon, as a special envoy to negotiate with the new military leadership in Niger in this regard. And typically that will involve forcing or coming to an agreement with the military junta, either to reverse the coup, which is never the case, but to set a timeline for a return back to democratic elections and governance in Niger. That might be 12 months, that might be 18 months, that might be 2 years, that might be 3 years. So that, I think, will happen at the political level. What I'm much more concerned about is what will be the fallout for this in Niger at the level of security issues and challenges. Niger is quite very strategic because on the two sides of its borders, the Lake Chad side and to the broader Sahel, it faces major security challenges with violent extremism. And we do know in the last couple of years that extremist groups from the Sahel have been expanding their attacks into other countries. So if Niger should fall or Niger's security should deteriorate, it's going to be a major challenge for countries like Nigeria, for many other West Africa countries, for the Lake Chad basin, because Niger has always been the buffer zone between connecting two sides of insecurity from the Sahel and Lake Chad basin. Niger has stood in the midst of that, and it has used a series of dialogue, negotiation to keep itself safe within the onslaught of violent extremism in the last decade or so. So I'm much more concerned about what this could mean for Niger in terms of security challenges.
Dr. Olawale Ismail, thank you very much for talking to us here on TRT World.